Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of Power Hour presented by Intelligent Applications. I am your host, Fazil, and my co host is Ryan.
Hi, good afternoon all. Welcome to Power Hour.
All right, our topic for today, we are continuing on our business case to dashboard series. The topic is building a simple report using simple charts and built in measures on Power BI. So, if you guys have been following our series, we would have started with defining KPIs and identifying data sources. I did that session with Riyadh. Then we came up with some test data for our business. And in the last episode, we would have looked at some data transformations and creating the data model. So at the end of last episode, this is the exact data model that we would have created. And this week we want to build some simple charts and show you how to interact with the Power BI tool for reporting. So a quick recap for those of you who are joining us. We have the data fields with our tables on the right hand side. We have the visualization pane where it have all of our different charts, and we have the canvas, right? So to get started, we want to do a simple sales dashboard. So the first thing I like to do is start with the time series information. So what we want to see is basically our sales by month or however granular we want to go with the dates. Alright, we're going to show you guys how simple it is to build reports in Power BI. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is click on our visual type. We want to start with the stacked column chart, right? So you see we have a blank visual here. You could see just some a little figure with what type of chart it is we have selected. And you'll notice two things. You could click on this tile, you could move it around, you can expand it, change the size, and here under the visualization pane, we can actually fill in the data fields for the axes, the legend, and the values. Right? Uh, so we're gonna start with the dates. Here we wanna pull in month here. We wanna just unselect the date hierarchy.
Sorry, but
Yeah,
in
go
case
ahead.
anyone has any questions pertaining to that date table and the structure of it, you can always refer to our previous video where we spoke more in depth on that date table.
Right. Right. So we pull in the date axis. The second thing that we want to look at is our orders table, and you will see value. So that's our sales value, right? We just pull that into the values data field, and voila. How cool is that? Right.
Easy as pie.
So we have our first visual, value by month here. Since we are dealing with time, you might want to add a time filter. What I like to do is use a slicer. So you could select slicer, and we just want to put this at the bottom here, make it a bit tiny. And for this, since we want to filter by time, we pull in date key from our date table into the field, and we get this nice sliding visual. So you see as I adjust it, I could select a particular date range. So something else you might be interested in is seeing some card data. So if we wanted to see what is our total sales, um, We could see it broken up by months here, but if we just want to see a whole value, so you would go to the card visual type, select that. We would want to resize this to an appropriate size, and we would pull in whatever value it is we wanted to see. So since we're dealing with sales value, we will pull in that figure, and you can see it's already aggregated for us, the entire sales value, and this date slicer applies to the entire page of the report. So whatever dates is selected here would control all the visuals. So if I was to adjust the date period selected, you would see the total sales value changing to match the date selected, and the graph as well adjust. Right, so everything is in sync.
Power BI never ceases to amaze with its ease of use and interactivity.
Now if we wanted to see a comparison of the sales data versus the target, we would have to use some kind of compound graph, such as, you guessed it, it's a line and stacked column chart. So a bar and line graph, as we commonly call it, right? So you could select the visual, and automatically the visual type has changed to bar and line graph, right? It looks the same, but the visual has automatically switched, and that is the ease of using Power BI. You could switch between visual types really easily, right? And now we could see that the shared axis is the month here, so we have the same axis, and we have the column value, which is our sales value. But then there's a new option to add a line value, and here is where we want to pull in our sales target data. We expand sales target, and we pull in the target value into the line. So here we can see the bars represent the sales, the actual sales value, and the line represents the target. So we could see for the first 2 months here, we are below target, and then in March, we performed well above the target that we had set. All right, so we could already spot trends and get useful insights from our data. Ryan, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's very easy, and even though numbers, tabular data is very good for some people, sometimes you need a graph, visual to really explain the information to get value from it and understand what is actually happening.
So we have our first main visual, which is the bar graph of the sales over time. Now, here is where I would start to break down the sales data into the various dimensions. So we would want to see the same sales data broken up by dimensions in our data set, such as customer and product. In this case, we also have source, which would show us whether the sales by whether it was purchased in store or via online purchase. Right, so how do we do that? A simple graph. Now, it is entirely up to you what visual you want to use to show this. Now, there are some do's and don'ts, and there are some books you guys could look at or read a material on choosing the right chart. And we will provide links to those things so you guys could take a look at that. Right, so we could use a vertical bar graph if we wanted to do a quick comparison. And our axis, but instead of time, we will use the dimension of source. So I would put source name, and then we want to see it by sales value. So you would notice that for this first page of the report, sales value is the common reporting uh, data that we're reporting by. Right, so all the visuals are reported on the same sales data. And here, so here we can see the entirety of our sales broken up by whether it was online or in store. Now, let's just take a look at store. So because we are reporting the data on sales value, Power BI, the graphs become interactive and linked. So similarly, how I could filter by date and all my graphs adjust, I could also select on another graph, such as this graph here with my sales by source, and I could filter. So if I click on store, we can see all the other visuals are only highlighting data that was purchased in store, right? Really, really useful. Um, Ryan, what do you think about this? Can we spot any trends here?
Yeah, for sure, I could definitely see no in-store sales in March, April, May. I think we all know what happened there.
So the idea is for the data is, when you're trying to build reports, it should tell a story, right? The data should tell a story. So here we could see that if we were looking at some realistic data, in fact, this might be realistic because we all know that when COVID hit, that a lot of shops, physical shops, had to close. So we could see here that there were no in-store purchases for that period while we were on lockdown. But if you take a look at the online purchases, there was a rise, right? So that's something really cool that you guys could take a look at. All right, so we want to break this data up into a few more dimensions just to give you guys a good idea of
But
the bigger
before
picture.
you move out of that, one of the questions in the chat is asking about the colors. I think, how everything's all blue if the colors could change.
Okay, yeah, so no problem. So we was gonna wait till the fifth video in this series to do some of um the color, the visual design and format and stuff, but I'll show you guys quickly how we could adjust the data colors, etc.
A
Right?
sneak peek.
A sneak peek. Sure. All right. So what you want to do is click on the visual, and you would see three tabs here. So the first one is the data fields, and the second one is format. So that is the one you guys would be interested in. And here you have a whole list of features that you could modify, right? So anything related to the legend, access, and data color. So data color is what you guys would be interested in, right? So if you don't like blue, or maybe you wanna do a report in company colors, that's fine. So we could change this blue into a purple. It might be into that. And we could set the target to red. Yeah. So really cool. We could do it on all the visual types. You would see the format tab, and you could change this accordingly. Yep. So hope that was helpful.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd follow.
cool. So continuing, we're just gonna add a couple more visuals here for you guys to take a look at. So one that's really popular it is the donut, and we try to use the donut more than the pie chart, I guess. I just a personal preference. It looks a bit cleaner. So here I want to see my sales value by product. So it sounds like we're doing some of the same thing, and it is because we're basically just breaking up sales data by dimensions and having it in a visual format for reporting purposes, right? So here, the legend is going to be our products, and we could add multiple fields to this legend. So let me show you what I mean by that. If I wanted to have product category, product manufacturer, and product name, and the value that we are reporting on, of course, is the sales value, right? Now this doesn't look too helpful. So again, you could adjust this. You could go into format. You could take off the legend if you want, and you can show all labels on the donut. So it's really up to you. You have all these options, right? And so if we wanted to drill down into a particular product, if I click on GPU, you could see that the data is being filtered, and we could see these sales value here are only for GPUs that we have sold, right? We could drill down further into value by product manufacturer. So we have some popular computer components manufacturers such as AMD, Nvidia, right? Asus. We could even go as far as value by product name. However, Rand, we could mention here that when we have these many uh, items in the dimension, a donut is not the most useful for seeing the data because it just looks like a big rainbow at this point, right?
Yeah, definitely agree. Um, it's definitely one of those data visualization no-nos, well don'ts.
All right. All right. So I'm seeing we have a question in the chat here.
Yes, so
Um, you want to
to
read it out?
answer,
Sure.
thank us for the previous question, and I guess Bal is referring to previously when the interactivity when you click GPU,
Right.
what are the grayed out parts?
Okay. No problem. Yeah, we could address that. Um, so basically, Power BI has two filtering mechanisms, or I should say interactive methods. The first one, which you are seeing here, is the highlight function. So I think by default, unless you change it in the Power BI settings, it stays on highlight. So if I click on a particular graph, the other values are highlighted as a fraction of the total. So you can see the total being grayed out, and the actual value for GPU is highlighted in the full color, right? Hope that explain it kind of simple. The other the other highlight method is filtering. Let me show you how that works. So if I click on this product category visual type, and I go to format, and I click on edit interactions, you will notice these little visual headers show up, and you can see what they say. You have three options: no interaction, highlight, which is what it is currently on, and we have the filter option. So if you don't want to see the grayed out values and you just want to do a straight filter, you could do that, and I'll show you guys. So it's really simple. You just click on filter. We could click on filter on this graph as well, and then we uncheck edit interactions. So now when I click on GPU, how cool is that, right? So we have changed the highlighting mechanism from highlight to filter. So you don't get the highlighted the values as a fraction of the total, but you get the actual values displayed, filtered. All right. Hope that was clear to you guys. Let me know in chat.
Yeah, I think that was definitely straight to the point and a little bit more insight into the interactivity between the visuals.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Um, that's cool. All right. So right. So Ryan and I were speaking about if we drill down to see sales value by product name, we were talking about it gets kind of inefficient reporting it like this when there are that many items in the donut. So if we want, we could leave this as breaking down by product category, and yeah, so let's have a modest graph here. Let's move this up a bit. Let's shrink this down. And you see, you could start arranging your graph how you want to see it. So what we want to do for the products is we want to do something like either horizontal um, bar graph, or you could also do a funnel, right? So those are two visual types that you guys could use. Um, so once we have our new visual type, the axis we want to look at is product name, and of course the value we're reporting by is the sales value. Right, and simple. Here we have a much better idea of which products are performing and which aren't. Right, Ryan, any questions on this one? Any input?
Yeah, but no, not right now. Chat's kind of handled for now.
All right, cool. And again, all of these charts you guys could customize, and in our last video of this series, we will be showing you guys some of our tips and tricks on how to make some nice visually appealing reports. So stay tuned for that, right? Alright, so to continue on with this video, we don't want to go too long. We want to show you guys a couple more things. Um, let's make this smaller. Oh, we can leave it bigger. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, Luke wants to know if we could break up products by manufacturer.
Yeah, we could do that. Alright, so let me show you.
Once we capture the information for something, you can usually do anything with it.
Yeah, alright, so we already have a visual here for product by category. The cool thing on Power BI is you could actually copy tiles. So we could copy this tile. You could do just select the tile and click copy, or you could do normal select and Control C, Control V on your keyboard like you would. normally, and you can see we have a duplicate tile here, and we can we can adjust what we want this to be. So if we wanted to see um, product manufacturer only, so we have this graph dedicated to product manufacturer, and this one for product category, and then we have the product name up here, so that way we get all the dimensions of the product. That is fine. Was it Luke? Let me know if this is sufficient for what you wanted to see, or I could show you another way that you could use the product filter, but it might not be the most visually appealing method. Um, so what we could do is you could have I would say a hierarchy filter. So it would be something like a slicer. Let me just have this floating here because I wouldn't be using it in the report. And here you could pull in the product information such as product category, product manufacturer, and product name. So basically, yes, so you have a hierarchy filter. So if you wanted to see CPUs, it filters the information, but this in itself isn't a visual chart. It's just a filter. And if you wanted to drill down into the filter, here you could see the manufacturers for those for that product category, and then you could drill down further into the products that that manufacturer creates. Yep, so pretty useful stuff. Again, it's up to you how you wanna display the information. And there is a case where this would be more useful, I guess, if you have a really big list of product categories, manufacturers, and products. Um, it would be better. Alright, so and to remove a tile, click on the three dots and click on remove. Or you could select the graph and click delete on your keyboard. So lots of features. Alright, how are we going so far? I'm seeing another question in chat.
Yeah, they were asking about, Avalon was asking about the targets changing.
Okay, so alright, let me take a look. So if I click on online,
Yeah, that's what she was referring to.
or if I click on a product, if I click on a product category, but it's still not changing, right? It's just showing you the target on the secondary axis. Okay, so to answer that is simple. In the video, I think it would be the last video that we did when I was explaining the test data. So let me show you guys that. So we go on the data view in Power BI and we take a look at our sales target table. Here you could see basically we have a sales target value per month, right? So one target value per month. The reason why the target isn't changing when we click on a filter is because we do not have the target as granular as the filter. So basically, you would only see targets for the entire month and for those months that a target has been set. But because we did not enter the target as granular as the product level or the source level, when we click on that filter or that dimension, there will be no, you wouldn't see any change in the target information on the graph. I hope that was clear. Ryan, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it makes sense, and explanation was straightforward. Hope Avalon agrees with my reasoning there. Well, sorry, my interpretation, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so if you wanted to see your targets changing, you would have to spend some time and set the targets as granular as you would want them. So you would have uh, many targets per product, and it would roll up into a target per month. And we just have the high level targets, which is target per month. All right, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so what we have so far, we have some visuals and we have our data, we have our time filter. So for the rest of this video, I just want to talk to you guys about some card values that we can do and some built-in measures that we could use on Power BI, right? So on top here, we have the first card, which is value. Now, if you wanted to change that label, you could simply rename it here. So we could do sales value, right? And like all other tiles, we could copy and paste, right? So sometimes it's simple to just duplicate these cards and then change the value after. So
That's definitely handy when you spend a lot of time formatting one card in particular.
oh yeah, so that's a cool feature, and we will show you guys that in operation. Yeah, so you see this option here, Format Painter. Basically, if you have two identical visual types and you format one, you could actually copy the formatting from one one tile to the other. So it saves a lot of time in formatting. Right, so we have this duplicated card value here, and we just want to see the sales target. So we already see in the sales value, we want to see what the sales target was. So immediately at a glance, we could see whether or not we were above or below the target. Right, so I would go into my sales target table and I would take target and replace it in the data field. Right, so you can see the label has changed. I could just edit that sales target. Right, so we could see we are above. Now, and in the fifth video, when we're doing visual formatting, etc., I will show you guys how we could do some cool conditional formatting to change the background of the card according to the target. So, you know, really cool stuff. All right, let's get a little deeper into it. What other Ryan? What other values would you be interested in seeing on a dashboard like this?
Even though I'm good at math, sometimes I'm a bit lazy. So if I could just know whether or not I exceeded or fell short of my target without having to think too much, that'll be really helpful.
All right, cool. So you wanna see something with that, or would this be sufficient for this video? We could do our docs to get the difference, or I guess yeah,
Maybe a quick measure.
a quick measure. All right, let's see. So let's go on. orders, and let's do a new quick measure. Um, all right, what do you have for me here, Ryan? Let's do what you want to do, a subtraction.
Yeah, subtraction.
All right, and the base value is gonna be our sales. Oops. All right. All right, so we have our sales value and what we comparing it to, our target value.
Yeah.
All right, and all right, so using Power BI and its built-in quick measures, we have created this value minus target. Now you could rename this accordingly. If you click on it, you could actually see the DAX that Power BI is using to do this quick measure. Now we're going into DAX in the next episode, so don't worry about this for now. Um, but just be aware that we could do these quick measures without having to think about the underlying formula for now. Right, so I want to create a card. I do a duplicate again, and we can pull in this new quick measure that we did, and we could say we could call this the difference round.
Yeah, difference.
Yeah, because I know you have a pet peeve about people who say variance.
Haha, yes, yes, definitely do.
Yeah.
To me, variance is statistical variance, the standard deviation squared.
Ah, boy, all right. So you see, Ryan getting excited with his stats.
Yeah.
Um, and
So,
yeah,
sorry to cut you off, but
go ahead.
one of the guys in the chat did answer was asking about the title on the card if it could be at the top instead of the bottom.
Definitely. So, all right. So you might notice that the label kind of cutting off here. So there are a few remedies to that. You could adjust the title of some of these um, text values to better accommodate the label at the bottom. So that's one option. You could adjust the size of the label. That's another option. But if you completely don't want the label at the bottom, you could just take off this category label. Right? So you turn it off. And then what you would do is go to title, so the title of the tile, and you would turn it on and then expand. So here you could type your title. So let's say sales target, and you see, boom, the label is at the top. You could adjust the font, you could adjust the size, the alignment, and the font type. Right, so of course you're not limited, and you could always adjust these to suit. Let's make it better. Yep, so I hope that answered your question. You can move the title to the top and format it as you wish. Alright, cool. Any more questions in the chat, Ryan?
No, I think you're exceptional today. So most of the our viewers today got all the questions answered.
That's good. I'm really glad that persons are asking questions. Um, Shows that people are watching the video and really interested in Power BI. I hope it would encourage others to also ask their questions. And even if this live has ended and they're looking at this video on YouTube, they could still ask their questions in the comment section, and we'll try to respond to them or address their questions or concerns in some future videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we've demonstrated to you guys the card values, and we just did a simple demonstration of our built-in quick measure on Power BI, right? Um, so one thing I wanted to show you guys as well is when you pull in a value, a column value into the field of a card, if you right click, here you can see some of the various statistical options you have for displaying that information on the card. Now the default method is the sum. So that's why I say sales value. It has already checked the sum by default. So that's our total sales value. Now if we wanted to change our value for any of these statistical measures, we could. So if we wanted to see the max um, transaction value, we could do that. We just simply click on max. If we wanted to see the minimum, the count, so here it counts the number of transactions or rows. Um, some other stuff we have standard deviation, variance, a median, so the median sales value, um, right? And we would get into some of those later on as we do more into the analysis. Um, One of the interesting ones that I wanted to show you guys is the average. Now, this average value here that Power BI spit out is actually the row average, right? Now, this could be useful, but in terms of when we're doing sales dashboard, what we usually want to see is daily average or weekly average, monthly average, that sort of thing. So this may not be as useful. Right now, I'm going to show you guys how we could use these simple quick measures on Power BI to get the monthly average. Alright, so what we're going to do is, again, we're going to duplicate a card. We're going to pull it here, and then we're going to right click on orders and create a quick measure. Alright, calculation. And here you could see the entire list of all the quick measures you could do in Power BI without writing a single line of formula or DAX, right? Um, so what do we want? We want the average per category. The category being month, right? So average per category. The base value is the sales value, and the category is the month. Let's go month. Let's check this out. Okay, so we have this quick measure created here, value average per month name, and we could pull that into our card, and boom, we have the monthly average. How cool is that?
Very cool.
Very
Very cool.
cool. Yep.
And today I learned something as well. I did not know about Power BI's default average as row average.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but when you're using it, you also need to be mindful of what average Power BI is giving you. Um, so while it is easy to use and useful, you need to be aware of what average it is, and fact check it as well, you know. So before it was given the row average, and you might have think that that was the daily average or something, but it's the row average. So you need to keep in mind how the format your data is in and how you're reporting it on Power BI. Um, let's see, we could add maybe two more cards and we'll try to end off today's episode. So I want to duplicate this card again. Oh, I'm running out of space. So let's just pull these back a bit. And here, instead of anything to do with value, I want to see how many units of product was sold. So we have units sold. And because all of these things are linked, I could filter by product 1660 Ti. So that's a graphics card from NVIDIA, and everything is filtered. Again, we could see the highlight mechanism here is on highlight, and we could change that to filter if the need arises. Right, one last thing that I want to show you guys is another quick measure. Let's see. So let's go quick measure and let's go to year to date total. So that's something important. Year to date total. And the base value we're looking at is sales value. And the date we're looking at. Alright, so it says only Power BI provided. Okay, so we need to use a date hierarchy field, such as we have one here, month year. Let's click OK. Alright, so I have our value year to date. Just duplicate this card and pull in my year to date value. Alright, so we can see it's matching the sales value, but that's only because we have selected the entire date range. If I was to adjust this, right, well, it should stay as the year to date, but because this filter is filtering the period selected, it would change. Let me just check this.
So we have a question from Rajendra
Sure.
about wrapping the card title on the fourth card.
Okay, so the wrapping. Okay, so I guess this is similar to what who was it that wanted the sales target to know if the sales target could move to the top of the card. So the thing about using the category label is if you have a long label, it doesn't wrap. So we can see that the word wrap is on, but it isn't really working that great. So this is usually used for short labels, but if we were to use the title, for some reason we have better luck with the title and you're able to um, put longer titles without that issue. So, oops, in caps, I'm in caps. Alright, so yeah, we can see some wrapping going on there, and we could center that. Yeah, so just one of those Power BI things where the category label, it doesn't wrap that well if the label is too long. Alright, think that's about it.
Which I guess makes sense since the point of the card is a value, and you don't want your label to be taking up too much space.
Yeah. All right. So we are approaching our cutoff time. Just yeah. So I think we'll end here. Next week episode we will be introducing you guys to some DAX. What is DAX? Data analysis expressions. So you guys could do some homework, look up what DAX is, and we'll be doing some more intermediate charts and analysis based on the KPIs we had defined previously. So hope you guys will join us for that. I hope today's session was useful. Um, yep. Any more questions before we sign off, Ryan?
No, I think our inquisitive friends have all asked everything they needed to ask.
All right. Cool. All right. So guys, thank you guys for joining us for this episode of Power Hour. Please like the video, share it with your friends, colleagues, family members, anyone who's interested in data on Power BI. Um, Thank you guys for joining us. Look out for us next Wednesday, half 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself and Ryan will be here. And like I said, we will be discussing some DAX and some intermediate report creation and analysis. All right. So till then, everyone take care, be safe, wear your mask. Um, yep. So we'll see you guys next week.
Alright, friends, take care.
All right, guys. Take care. Next time.